Istanbul is incredible year-round, but the off-season? That's when the city truly shines. In this video, we're revealing why visiting outside the tourist rush gives you a richer, more authentic experience. Hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Your perfect Istanbul trip starts now. When most travelers dream of Istanbul, they picture bustling summer streets, sunlit mosques, and crowded bazaars. But what if I told you the true magic of this city reveals itself when the tourist rush fades away? Visiting Istanbul in the off-season, typically late autumn, winter, and early spring, offers a deeper, more authentic experience. From quieter attractions to cozy Turkish teas on chilly afternoons, you'll discover a side of the city that summer visitors often miss. 10. Fewer crowds, more space. In summer, places like Hagia Sophia, the Blue Mosque, and Topkapi Palace can feel like a marathon. Long queues in the heat, rushed tours, and hundreds of camera flashes going off around you. In the off-season, those same spaces feel almost sacred. You might step into Hagia Sophia and hear your footsteps echo under its vast dome. You can stand in front of the Blue Mosque's intricate tiles for minutes without being pushed along by a group tour. The streets, too, breathe easier. Sultanahmet's cobblestones, which in summer are packed shoulder to shoulder, feel calm enough to stroll slowly and notice the little details: the smell of baking simit, the call to prayer bouncing between minarets, the clink of teacups in quiet corners. This isn't just sightseeing, it's experiencing. 9. Lower prices on flights and hotels. This is where the off-season really smiles at your wallet. Flights to Istanbul from major cities can drop by 20 to 50% in low season, and hotels follow suit. A Bosphorus view suite that might cost $300 in July could be $150 or less in November. Luxury travelers can suddenly afford high-end stays, while budget travelers can stretch their funds to include extras like guided tours, a Turkish bath experience, or extra days in the city. Restaurants, too, sometimes adjust their prices or offer set menus in quieter months. Bargaining in the bazaars can also be easier when shopkeepers are eager for off-season sales. 8. Perfect weather for exploring. Istanbul has a humid subtropical Mediterranean climate, which means summers are hot and humid, but winters are mild with occasional rain or snow. The off-season months offer cooler air that's perfect for walking long distances without overheating. In autumn, the city glows in warm shades of gold and amber, and the parks like Gull Lane become a painter's dream. Winter adds a poetic layer. The Galata Tower half hidden by mist, the Bosphorus shimmering under a silver sky. Early spring bursts with blossoms, especially around American Park during the Tulip Festival in April. Off-season weather also means you can explore neighborhoods like Balat, Kadiki, or Yaskar without constantly hunting for shade or wiping sweat. 7. Easier restaurant reservations. Istanbul is a food lover's paradise, but in summer, getting a table at a famous meyhane or rooftop restaurant can be nearly impossible without booking far ahead. In the off-season, spontaneity returns. Want to enjoy a long seafood dinner at Karachi Lokantasi or a meze feast in a Beyoğlu tavern with live music? You can usually walk in and be seated within minutes. You'll also find more time to talk to chefs and waiters, who may share local food traditions, recommend lesser-known dishes, or even offer you a complimentary dessert. And speaking of desserts, the cooler months are perfect for indulging in warm kunefe, dripping with cheese and syrup, alongside a glass of strong Turkish tea. 6. Seasonal food delights. Off-season means seasonal eating, and in Istanbul, that's a big deal. Winter is anchovy season. Locals flock to the shores for hamsi tava, fried anchovies, served with lemon and fresh bread. Street vendors roast kestane, chestnuts, filling the air with a nutty, smoky aroma. Salep, a hot, thick drink made from orchid roots and cinnamon, is a winter ritual that warms your hands and soul. Spring brings artichokes, fresh greens, and strawberries, which appear in both savory and sweet dishes. Visiting during these months allows you to taste dishes at their freshest, often in cozy, family-run spots where recipes haven't changed in decades. 5. More authentic local interactions. tourism changes a city's rhythm. In summer, shopkeepers, taxi drivers, and cafe owners often move in fast forward to keep up with demand. But in the off-season, time slows. A rug merchant in the Grand Bazaar might invite you to sit for tea and explain the symbols woven into his carpets. A fisherman on the Galata Bridge might teach you how to spot the best place to cast a line. In a spice shop, the owner might grind fresh sumac for you, while telling stories about their family's history in the market. These small interactions are often the most memorable, and they're far easier to come by when the streets are calmer. 4. Unique winter Bosphorus views. The Bosphorus is Istanbul's lifeline, connecting Europe and Asia, and in the off-season, it wears a different face. In early mornings, fog rolls in and blurs the skyline, making minarets and Ottoman mansions appear and disappear like something from a dream. On rare snowy days, the Maiden's Tower becomes a scene from a fairy tale. Ferries feel quieter, and you can sip tea in peace as you pass palaces like Dolmabahce and Beylerbeyi without jostling for a photo spot. Evening cruises are especially enchanting in winter, with city lights reflecting on the inky water and the sound of seagulls echoing in the cold night air. 3. Exclusive access to cultural events. Istanbul is a cultural capital year-round, but its off-season events are often more intimate and locally focused. Winter jazz and classical concerts take place in historic venues like churches and restored mansions. Independent film festivals showcase Turkish cinema, rarely seen by international audiences. Art galleries host exhibitions from both emerging and established artists, often with fewer crowds, so you can truly absorb the work. There's something special about stepping into a warmly lit hall on a chilly evening, knowing you're sharing the experience with locals rather than packed tourist groups. 2. A different perspective on iconic sites. In summer, the Basilica Cistern is crowded with selfie sticks and chatter. In winter, its echoing chambers feel like a time machine. Sultanahmet Square, often hot and noisy in July, becomes serene under a thin layer of frost. Even places like the Grand Bazaar feel transformed. Instead of dodging large groups, you can wander freely, discovering tiny artisan stalls you'd otherwise miss. This shift in atmosphere changes your relationship with the city. Instead of checking off sites, you're absorbing them. 1. The true spirit of Istanbul. Above all, visiting Istanbul in the off-season reveals its soul. Without the seasonal rush, you see daily life unfold. Fishermen chatting over tea, children chasing pigeons in front of mosques, elders sitting on benches watching ferries pass. You hear the call to prayer not as background noise, but as a rhythmic heartbeat of the city. You taste the slow-cooked stews families eat in winter. You walk streets that feel like they belong to you, if only for a moment. This is Istanbul, as the locals know it, rich, layered, deeply human. And once you experience it this way, summer crowds will never tempt you again. From crowd-free landmarks to cozy cafes and unbeatable travel deals, off-season Istanbul is unforgettable. If you want the city all to yourself, now's the time to go. Comment your dream season to visit Istanbul and subscribe for more travel insights. The Bosphorus is calling. Will you answer?